Hello everyone. Today in this video we are going to look at menstrual cycle. So it is a cyclic process that occurs in primates such as monkeys, apes and human beings. So menstruation, it is the monthly flow of blood out of the vagina. This occurs when there is no fertilization taking place. The blood is the uterus lining shedding when no fertilization has taken place. It takes place approximately every 28 days. So this is the perimetrium. So the perimetrium, as you can see, is the outermost layer. It is a thin membranous layer. And we have the middle layer, which is known to be myometrium, myo meaning muscular. So it is made of smooth muscles. It undergoes strong contraction during parturition. And the innermost layer that is going to be discussed here is known as the endometrium. This is a layer that is going to undergo shedding at the time of menstruation. It is a thick glandular innermost layer. So I thought let's go on and start by writing all of this. So when we're talking about menstrual cycle, we have to first look at the key terminologies. Okay, so first is menopause. We have menarche. So this is menarche is basically the beginning, the first time menstruation occurs. So it is a starting point. And menopause, it is when the menstruation stops. So this is known as menopause. It occurs around 50 years. It's not a specific age, but it occurs within this years range. So now when we're talking about menstruation, you want to remember 4 hormones. So 2 pituitary hormones, 2 ovarian hormones. So I'm just going to use color coding here, so that is going to be useful. So I'm going to use FSH and LH. These are pituitary hormones. Pituitary hormones, I'm going to use purple. Okay, and I'm going to use green for ovarian hormones. We have estrogen. I'm just going to put E for estrogen, and for progesterone, I'm going to put P. So that's going to save a lot of time, right? Now, I'd like to start using with 2 places. Okay, so this is just going to be like a flow chart. So whenever you're going to revise it, you can just look at this picture and understand it. So first is you're going to talk about these 2 parts are involved. Okay, so this is what you want to look at. Okay, so let's have ovary here. Right here, I'm having, although it's not the exact location, it's just for understanding purpose, we're having it like placed right below it. So the sizes is just it's not accurate. It's just all for understanding purpose. So we should also understand that during a menstrual cycle, the ovum is released by alternate ovaries. We know there is a pair of ovaries. So if in the first month, if the ovum is released from one of the ovaries, the next month it is released from the other ovary. That is how it happens. So the starting. So females are born with about 1 million of egg follicles in their ovaries. So let's start with the process. Okay, so the first, what happens is that the pituitary kind of releases. So let me just use maybe red for the blood flow. I think that would be better. So it releases FSH, so that's purple, so I'm going to indicate it with purple. Okay, it releases FSH. This is known as follicle stimulating hormone. It is the hormone that moves by blood to the ovaries, and what it does is it makes one of the primary follicles, to start developing. So I'm just gonna show us like it's increasing size. Okay, so this is what happens, and this developing follicle, as it develops, what it does is it releases estrogen. Okay, so it releases estrogen like that. So what happens is that, again, it's a hormone. What happens is this estrogen kind of has this, it goes back to it goes to the uterus. Okay, so this is gonna go to the uterus. Maybe we could have maybe something like this. Maybe I'm kind of out of colors here, so I'm just gonna use this. Okay, let's say this is the uterus. Okay, so it stimulates. It kind of it goes to the uterus and it stimulates the wall of the uterus, and the uterus wall becomes thick and glandular. So this is a preparation for implantation. Okay, so has this, it's basically, actually everything is happening in the blood, right? So as this estrogen level rises, it goes to the pituitary. The pituitary is stimulated by it. So what it does is it stops FSH from producing. Then what happens is now the pituitary, what it does is like, okay, there is a lot of estrogen that is being produced. So this is an indication that when there is high amounts of estrogen, the pituitary understands that, okay, there is a high amount of estrogen, so that means these follicles are developing. They are pretty much developed. So why do I have to produce FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone? Why do I have to stimulate it more? Let's stop the FSH production. Instead, what I will do is I'm going to release LH, right? It's going to produce LH now. This LH, what it does is it is known as luteinizing hormone. So what it does is it goes to the ovary, and this ovary, with this LH and the high level of estrogen, what happens is ovulation happens. So ovulation happens. So let's consider this as probably like the fallopian tube. So this kind of burst out, right? So I'm gonna like have it like this thing, and when it's bursting out, you have like remaining like. So let's say this is the yellow body. This is known as corpus luteum. This is known as corpus luteum. Corpus luteum meaning yellow body. Okay? Then what happens is that this corpus luteum, it starts producing progesterone. So progesterone is usually known as a birth supporting hormone. So it kind of maintains this, all of this estrogen has prepared, it has made this uterus glandular. The role of progesterone is to maintain that lining of the uterus, so that in case of fertilization, it is going to support implantation. But the thing about this corpus luteum is that it can only stay for a certain amount of days. It only lasts for a few days, and within that time span, if there is no fertilization, it will certainly break down. It's going to just last for a few days. It's going to break down. If there is fertilization and then implantation occurring, what happens is that the placenta takes over the production of progesterone, which will maintain the lining. If there is no implantation, of course, this progesterone is gonna be over, and this is gonna shut down. Okay, so there is gonna be, this is disintegrating, and this is progesterone is gonna drop and causes the uterus to shed its lining and the pituitary, and then if this finish and this all comes down through the vagina. Okay, and that is your menstrual cycle. So that is menstruation that occurs, and again it comes back, the same process. It's a cycle, as I told you earlier. So I hope you could really understand it. It's very much easier if you can remember it this way. You just want to remember the first hormone is going to be FSH, then it's going to be estrogen, then third one is LH, fourth one is progesterone. It's very much simpler if you could remember this order, and then you're just going to understand. It's just basically like a story, so it's pretty simple. So thank you. If you really liked it, come on, share it to others, spread the knowledge. Thank you once again. Goodbye.